All right, looks like we are at the top of the hour. So welcome everybody back to Get Well Wednesdays. Today we are going to focus on the Get Well Connection Hub. So it's our one-stop shop to optimize utilization of the system. And it's something that I've been working on for the past week or so to make sure that we're stocking it with things that you can use to improve your practice. Also have your cell phones ready. We are going to do a live Kahoot, time permitting, at the end of today's presentation. So I will try to stay on time for everybody. So Get Well Wednesdays, first Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We do try to rotate topics just to keep it interesting. So little micro learnings, great for lunch and learn. If you do have a topic that you would like for us to cover, feel free to submit those to me and I will see if we can get those lined up as well. And invite your colleagues. So even if it's nursing, technical team members, leadership, feel free to invite them to Get Well Wednesdays. Our next one on May 7th is going to be about pediatric meal ordering and how that empowers patients and saves nurses time. And then in June, tune in because we are going to have some really interesting information from Get Well about Smart Hospital of the Future. So today I will be presenting along with one of our fantastic government client success managers, Sam. So I will turn it over to Sam to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm the Client Success Manager here at VA Pittsburgh, and I am going to be keeping my eye on the chat for Misty. So if you have any questions, I'll be handing them over to her, and I'll be running the Kahoot at the end.
Thank you, Sam. And since I popped up on you all in January, I wanted to take a little bit of time to introduce myself. So I'm Misty Avery Wilson, Director of Clinical Services here at Get Well. I pulled up a picture from the past, and that sophisticated communication device in my hand right there is a stroke brain on a stick that we would use in triage at my old facility. So a little bit of history on me. So I spent 8 years as a Spanish medical interpreter at a level 1 trauma center. I worked in the ED, inpatient, outpatient. I was there for procedures if the patient was awake. So I got this really unique bird's eye view of the entire hospital experience. I interpreted for everybody from the greeter to the neurosurgeon. So just really interesting time. And I also worked in adults and pediatrics, so got a good view of kind of the entire system. From there, I moved into the corporate patient experience department at that hospital system, where I worked for 6 years as the Get Well program manager. So my responsibilities with that was managing Get Well for our 12 inpatient hospitals, as well as the ambulatory clinics, skilled nursing facilities. I was also responsible for staff education and training. And that went from new hires to ongoing at the elbow training and competencies. I also led a bi-monthly Get Well Champions meeting for our leaders and our unit champions and facility champions to join. I would present on data, I would present on some best practices, and also updates to Get Well. So it was a really good way for me to communicate new features down to all the facilities. I was also a presenter at the past Get Connected conference. So back in 2020, I was presenting about medicine teaching when everybody's phones went off because COVID had canceled hymns. So experience there too. Then I decided to come on over to Get Well. So I've been a client success manager for about the last 3.5 years on the commercial side, primarily point of care, so inpatient, BYOD, rounds plus. And then I did have a couple Get Well Loop or guided care clients as well. I took over this Director of Clinical Services position about mid-January, so it's been a transition from client success over to this role. And my primary responsibilities will be Get Well Wednesdays, keeping the Connection Hub up to date, which is our focus today, ambassador training, so government and commercial, program manager live learning sessions, which will be coming back soon, as well as making sure we have Get Well education material. And I also support our client success team. The reason I wanted to share that with you is, in that role, one thing that I would constantly look for was resources to help me communicate best practices and give recommendations to leadership. And then historically, I needed to go through our client success representative to get those, and they were fantastic. It caused a little bit of a delayed process. So one of the things I really want to focus on is streamlining this for you. So my goal is to try to have as many resources at your fingertips as possible to help with your practice, make everything a little more easily found. So just a reminder, as we go through, the Q&A is open, so please use the chat function if you do have any questions. Sam will be monitoring that. And the first thing I want to do is take a quick poll. So let me know when you all are able to see this. Okay, give it another second or two.
We do have confirmation in the chat that it went through, Misty.
Awesome. All right, just another second or so. We'll go ahead and close it out. All right, so let's take a look at the results. So looks like 64% of you all do have a Get Well Connection Hub account already, which is fantastic. For those that don't, I will show you how to get one today. Last time you logged into the Connection Hub, so looks like it has been a while for most people, which is perfectly fine. That is the purpose of today's session. So with that, we will go ahead and jump in. The Get Well Connection Hub is the kind of reimagined client community that we used to have for those of you all who have been here for a while. The Connection Hub was initially launched back in mid-2023, so we are coming up on 2 years. And again, the purpose, just make it more modern, more streamlined and robust, a little bit easier navigation to find what you're looking for. The Get Well Connection Hub is available exclusively to current Get Well clients. So if you run into folks who are not Get Well clients, they do not have access to these resources. If you do not have an account already, you can go to the getwellconnect.com website. And then you'll see up here, there is a new user sign up. You must use your work email. Like I mentioned, this is exclusive for our clients. So you cannot use a personal email because the system will not recognize you as an existing client. I also want to prepare you to have a 16-character password ready, including uppercase, lowercase, at least one number, and at least one special character. So 16 is a lot. So I know that takes a bit of planning out. And with that, what we're going to do, I'm actually going to do a live demo and walk through the Connection Hub. So let me know if you all can see this okay. Sam, everybody, can you see this?
It looks good.
All right, fantastic. All right. So this is the home page, where we land when we first log in. So as we scroll down, as you all know, we just started a new process for our support department that's called hello@getwellnetwork.com. And this is where you can email in requests, issues, anything like that directly to support, and they will make sure that they are streamlining that workflow to connect you with the person or the team responsible for resolving your request or your issue. So I do have information about that right here. If you want to find out more, you can click this introducing hello, and we have a good FAQ there for you. Scrolling on down, Get Well Wednesdays like today, you'll see the upcoming lineup of topics. Over here on the right, toolkits and support for staff training. So if you are a preceptor, you can click here and that will take you to those resources. Or if you're also doing new hire training, there is a toolkit for you too. So you can click that and it will open up. And all of these links will take you to additional resources. So everything's there for you kind of in one spot. This page also gives you the opportunity to look at some of our past blogs. We do have a pediatric leadership cohort session coming up at Get Connected. These are typically virtual, but we are doing it live and in color this time at Get Connected. If you do want to attend that conference and you've not registered quite yet, you can click here and it will take you to the registration page. Our Get Well Ambassador program. So this is one that I will lead. We have reduced it down to 2 hours. And then if you are a nurse, you can get 2 continuing education credits for this as well. So we have a government session coming up April 8th, so just next Tuesday. And then commercial, the next one is the 15th. If you would like to register, again, you can do that directly from this site. Information here about champions. Champions are key. Those are going to be your kind of boots on the ground at the facility. Think nurse managers, think nurses working on clinical ladder projects, think EVS teammates. Anybody that has contact with patients can be a Get Well champion. So information here about that and some different training guides. If you have missed a previous Get Well Wednesday, you can click here and it will take you to kind of our repository of where we store all that information. Point of care video is here. And if you want more information, we do have some links to that as well. Featured best practices, and then some different recommended resources. Regardless of the page you're on, there will always be this "We want to hear from you" section. Feel free to use this again if you've got ideas for Get Well Wednesdays, if you want to share a best practice, if there's something you want to see on the Connection Hub, you can fill this out and I will receive those. So feel free to use this as well. Now, I don't want to make you all dizzy. So what I'm going to do, if you come up here to this top menu, you can actually just click and it will take you to the new page or the section that you're looking for. So under Discover Get Well, many of you know this was Get Well. We actually just had our 25-year anniversary. So the Get Well was created by a patient for patients and staff. So if you're interested in Mike O'Neill's story, you can watch a short video about that here, as well as inspirations. Get involved now. Many of you may have received GEN grants in the past. They do a lot of good work with like sleep kits and, you know, for pediatric, the Smashmallows or Smushmallows, whatever, Squishmallows. We've been giving those out. I do want to let you know there's other things you can do by contacting GEN directly. For example, I had a facility that had a 17-year-old patient who was coming up on their 2-year anniversary being in the hospital, and they didn't have a whole lot of family members around. So I was able to reach out to GEN on behalf of that facility, and they sent them some Get Well swag. So we outfitted that particular patient with a hat and sweatshirt and things like that. So if you do have a unique situation like that, feel free to reach out to GEN, and they can you can communicate with them about what you're looking for. Also, information down here about some Get Well solutions if you're interested. And again, the contact us. Patient education is a really important page. As a client success manager, we get questions all the time about how do I watch these videos? So this patient education tab is where you can come and click into these to actually preview the health videos from our vendor partners. You will notice that some of them do require a username and a password, but this is the best way to preview those health videos, particularly if you're wanting to create mapping for them, or you're creating an order set or a unit-based video list. This is just a good place to come and see that information. I also just added this in today. We also get updates to our video library. So if you're looking for the latest updates on your patient education videos, you can click this link and it will take you to our most recent update. So we have a kids health video library update coming this month. Actually, I believe it starts on the 7th. So this is where you can come and find out what titles are coming. Same with entertainment. So we do have quarterly Swank Hollywood movie lineup updates. And I wanted to make those accessible too, because some people like to create patient guides that have this information on them. We also get updates from Wheels Up, get new seasons added. This is a great resource if you have a child life department or art therapy. There's a lot of good ideas there. So you can click on that and you can find here our adult Swank Hollywood movie lineup, as well as those 6 additional movies everybody gets as the standard package, as well as the pediatric Swank Hollywood movie lineup, if those are of interest to you. And then by clicking here, you can find out what the current Wheels Up video lineup is. Again, that is a great resource for child life. Training and Learning Center. So this is going to be your kind of one-stop shop for all things, whether you're trying to learn more about Get Well yourself or whether you are a preceptor or going to be responsible for training. This is the best place to find that information. So Ambassador Program, again, you can sign up for those. We focus on the trifecta for success, which is critically important. I can say that from being on the client side. You have to have your executive sponsors and leaderships to create that accountability, your program managers to communicate that out and kind of drive those changes. And then your Get Well champions, which are going to be your boots on the ground, trying to execute that work and doing, best practices at the bedside. So very important information here. Great resource. Ambassador Program, again, if you would like to register, you can do so here. And this is where you're going to find kind of the bulk of the training guides. There's videos here, inpatient or point of care, training at scale. Again, these are those toolkits for preceptors or new hires. Rounds Plus, we do get a lot of questions about Rounds Plus. So here, if you learn better from an e-module, we do have those available for the different roles. But if you just want a static user guide that you want to download and kind of look through, we have those there as well. So again, trying to put these resources right at your fingertips to where there's no delay in you finding them. Engagement resources, these are also great. Competency checklists, some best practice guides. Badge buddies are interesting. So particularly if you are on a service line specific unit, this gives you the opportunity to put some videos on the back of a badge just for easy access so that teammates know what's available for them to order. So you can download that template there. Staff and patient guides. So examples, if you are wanting to create something like this, one pagers for your staff or create something laminated, put it at the bedside for patients. Those are great here as well. Past Cahoots, if you're interested in those. Management console resources. So we do get a lot of questions about management console, how to run reports, how to monitor utilization. So this is going to be your one-stop shop for that information. Program Manager Live Learning. So this is something that we are going to reboot shortly. So stay tuned for that. There are a couple past sessions here if you are interested in those. You can watch the recordings. And then this is a section that I just added. Again, I wanted to make sure you all have all the resources you need at the click of a mouse. So more information about that Hello support workflow that we have now. Integration, we get a lot of requests for integration specs. So you can click here and it will take you to those. So those are easily accessible. Also test strategies for point of care releases. As you know, we get monthly point of care releases. And these are fantastic because they're not only about what content is getting added, but there's technical aspects to it as well. So you can see here, this is an example from November. This goes over that new patient onboarding that we had added to inpatient. And then if you keep scrolling down, these are things that your technical teammates are probably going to be interested in. So security updates, bug fixes, things like that. So I highly encourage you. We do send emails, but if you don't get the email or if you just can't find it, I wanted you to have somewhere where you could easily access that information. Also hardware, we do get questions about hardware provisioning, smart room capabilities, things like that. So you can click here. And if you're looking for information about smart TVs, pillow speakers, device provisioning, registering devices, all of that again is right here for you, network requirements. And if you are wanting to order hardware from GetWell or at least get a quote about hardware, I have a link here that you can click. And this is where you can place your order or request a quote for hardware. All right. I want to make sure that we have time for our Kahoot. So Spotlight on Success, again, best practice essentials here. Feel free to come here and download that information. If you're working on a magnet program or joint commissions coming, we got some crosswalk resources here. And again, community outcomes. If you're wanting to see how other systems have used GetWell effectively to drive change, here's that information. So we got some meds to beds, discharge pathway, improving safety outcomes with Rounds Plus. So this is going to be kind of that repository for information about that. If you are a loop or a guided care client, we have that information here for you as well. And then connect with GetWell. So again, this is where we store our GetWell Wednesdays. If you click on the month, it will open this up where you can rewatch the video or the recording right here. And if you want to download the slide deck, this is also where you can do that. So I do encourage you to browse through and see if there are any titles of past GetWell Wednesday sessions that may be of interest to you. We got them all the way back to 2023. Ambassador training again. Information about our communities of practice. So right now we have a pediatric leadership cohort, as well as a federal community of practice. We just had a session last week. And then people reach out wanting to know if we're at certain conferences. So this is where we will keep that. It has been a busy conference season. So we do try to keep these updated. And then just some other resources to connect to purpose down here at the bottom, as well as more information about Jen. So I encourage you to sign in or log in and create an account and just look through here and find things that may be of interest to you. And feel free to reach out to me using this form down here if you do have questions, suggestions, best practices you want to share to add to the repository, anything like that. All right. So with that, we are going to go ahead and do a Kahoot. So Sam, I am going to stop sharing so that you can share your screen.
That sounds great. Thanks, Misty, for all of that information. It really seems like the Connection Hub is a wonderful one-stop shop. There's something for everyone, from hardware information to bedside resources. So thank you very much for sharing that. To join this Kahoot, you can go ahead and scan the QR code that should be on your screen. And you might have to enter that game pin.
And our top couple winners can win some Get Well swag. So for those of you who do win that are not current Get Well employees, I will reach out to you to make sure I'm sending you something that's compliant with your healthcare system's rules about receiving goodies.
This is great. We have a lot of participation here. All right, we'll give it just a few more moments.
All right, I think we're good.
Okay. True or false? You'll need to wait until you receive an invite to be able to sign up for a Get Well Connection Hub account. You guys are fast.
And winners are judged on speed and accuracy. So the faster and more correct you answer, the higher you will be on the winner's block.
Great job. All right, our leaderboard, we have Maria in the lead here. Great job, Maria. You must sign up for the Connection Hub with your work email because a personal email address won't work. True or false? And that was true. Angela is now in the lead. On the Connection Hub, I can do all of the following on demand except this one's a little trickier. Apply for Get Well job postings. Angela staying in the lead. We have Caroline and another Angela on our leaderboard as well. What are examples of staff training tools that I can find on the Connection Hub? You can select multiple answers here. Okay, Rounds Plus e-learning modules, 30, 60, 90 training plan, and badge buddies. Oh, and new hire and preceptor toolkits.
Oh, both Angelas.
Wow. Get Well Connection Hub is a great resource for which of the following to log in and check out. And that is technical teammates, clinical and non-clinical Get Well champions, and quality and safety leaders at my facility. What Get Well community outcomes will you find on the Connection Hub? All of the following except
The wording on this one's a little tricky, so read it close.
and that is how to provide entertainment to increase length of stay. That is not something that you can find. All right, Angela's still in first. We have Kate, Manzi, SSK, and Anali. There are newly added resources for which of the following? And that answer is all of the above.
Final question will bring us right up to time.
I'm going to sign up and log in to the Connection Hub to find resources to support my work with Get Well. This is true or false? I know what my answer is. Awesome. Oh, great. And
Oh,
everyone
good.
says they're logging in, Misty.
That is exactly what I want to hear. So our leaderboard will pop up. I know that we are right at time. Again, this was recorded. We will send out slides. We didn't go through a lot of slides today, but I will send you the deck just in case. Angela, Kate, and Anali. Fantastic. So I will reach out to you all individually about your prizes. All right, we are right at 1:30. So thank you everybody for hopping on today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.